U.S. presidential election. Hello, the United States is about to hold another presidential election for a new term. Every time this happens, the whole world pays attention and keeps track. While many people follow the U.S. presidential elections, many might not know how the presidential election process works, how votes are cast, and who will be the winner. In this story, I will help you understand the presidential election process in the U.S. Behind it are some extremely interesting and mysterious things. Let's get started. Presidential elections in the U.S. are quite cumbersome and complex battles. The odds can change at the last minute, and sometimes the candidate with the most votes ends up losing. Why? We will explore that together. The U.S. is a multi-party country. When it comes to the presidential election, there is an internal struggle within each party to choose who will represent that party as a candidate for president and vice president, known as the nominees. These candidates will be voted on, and the one with the most votes will obviously win. However, there are two important issues to consider. First, the U.S. uses a system of absolute majority, meaning that to become the winner, a candidate must receive more than 50% of the votes. Even if a candidate receives the most votes but only gets 49%, they will not be elected. In that case, the decision will fall to the House of Representatives to determine who will be president. Second, who will be the voters? The U.S. relies on the votes of electors to decide who wins. Specifically, there are 50 states in the U.S. Each state will elect a predetermined number of electors. The number of electors is based on the population of that state. A more populous state has more electors, while a less populous state has fewer electors. The number of electors from each state is equal to the number of members in the House of Representatives and the Senate from that state. Currently, there are 435 representatives in the House and 100 senators in the Senate. Thus, there are a total of 535 electors, plus 3 electors from the District of Columbia, making a total of 538 electors. From this, the number of votes needed to become president is more than 50% of 538, which is 270 votes or more. However, if the electors vote for someone, that person will become president, which would be too simple. That is not how the U.S. election works. So how does it work? Isn't it true that the people vote for electors, and the electors vote for the president? Not exactly, my friends. It can be said that the people are the ones who vote for the president. Specifically, it works like this. Currently, almost all U.S. states follow a principle of winner takes all. This means that the people have the right to directly vote for the president. If in a certain state, the people vote for candidate A the most, then all the electors are required to vote for candidate A. Only 2 states do not follow this principle. From this, we see that although the electors' votes are the deciding votes for who will be president, they are almost just figureheads because they must vote for whoever the people vote for the most. There are rare occasions when all electors from a certain state are supposed to vote for candidate A because the people's votes favored candidate A the most. However, when voting occurs, the electors may vote for candidate B, going against the state's principle, and that vote is still accepted. However, this situation is extremely rare. because securing the majority of votes from the people in a state means securing all the electors' votes from that state. A candidate must go to that state to campaign, persuading the people by making promises, expressing views, or outlining their policies to gain the people's affection and support. As long as the people support and vote, the candidate will win all the electors' votes without worrying much about what the electors think. When campaigning, presidential candidates must calculate which states to visit and which ones to skip because their resources and time are limited, and they cannot go to all the states. So which states will they skip? As you may know, the two strongest parties in the U.S. are the Democratic and Republican parties. Some states consistently favor the Democratic Party, while others consistently support the Republican Party. Therefore, if a candidate belongs to the Democratic Party, they can almost take for granted that they will secure all the votes from the states supporting the Democrats. To win, they need to focus on campaigning in states loyal to the Republicans, or easier still, campaign in swing states that lean toward both parties. In some years, all states in the U.S. have been loyal to one party, with the Democrats holding the majority. Thus, whoever is the Democratic candidate is virtually guaranteed the presidency. But sometimes there are situations that are both amusing and unfortunate. For example, a Republican candidate may think that a certain state is already loyal to the Republicans and therefore may not campaign there, even though that state has a large population and many electors. Instead, they campaign in another state, which is more difficult and has fewer votes, allowing the Democratic candidate to jump in, campaign, and persuade the people. Consequently, the Democratic candidate wins all the votes in that state and prevails. It's like when many of you take an exam. You tackle the hard questions first, but leave the easy ones undone when time runs out. On election day, when the public goes to vote with their ballots, the results of who won and who will be president are almost known the next day. From the popular votes of the people, it will be clear how the electors from that state will cast their votes. However, it is rare but does happen that the total number of popular votes nationwide shows that candidate A has more votes, yet the total number of electors shows candidate B has more. Why does this happen? This is because, for example, in state X, with a population of 10 million, everyone votes for candidate A, giving candidate A 10 electors. In state Y, with a population of 11 million, 5 million vote for candidate A and 6 million vote for candidate B. Thus, candidate B receives 11 electors and wins. Overall, candidate A has 15 million popular votes, while candidate B only has 6 million. As you can see, the U.S. election process is quite complicated and interesting. Candidates must campaign vigorously and strategize which states to focus on and which ones to sacrifice. It seems being president requires some math skills. This Trump fellow is quite peculiar, so everything related to him becomes at least 100 times more interesting. For example, during this election, there have been many amusing events. Before the election, Trump declared that if he loses, he would not leave the White House. Just this statement alone has captured the world's attention. If this becomes a reality, it's unclear what the U.S. would do, since no president has ever acted this way before. Then there's the issue of mail-in voting, with numbers reaching into the hundreds of millions. This is the highest number ever. Trump claimed that this would lead to fraud, and that if he loses, he will take legal action. Isn't that fascinating? Just yesterday, it was clear that Trump was close to winning. He even confidently announced to the media that it was a resounding victory. Yet, from noon to evening, the results flipped around like a Honda making a U-turn. Suddenly, Trump went from being on the verge of winning to being close to losing. It's a shame. People are saying that somewhere, some Republican votes were found, while others for the Democrats were cast by individuals sitting somewhere else. There are also reports of ballots that seem to have gone astray. Then there's some secretary who misrecorded numbers for the Democrats. At this point, many states have had to halt vote counting, and many are suing each other. In general, listening to all this is heart-wrenching. It's unclear when we will have the official results. Will the popular votes determine who becomes president? Or will it have to go to the courts and the House of Representatives? Because if 95% agree to vote publicly, but count the votes secretly, it wouldn't be interesting to watch at all. It must be acknowledged that this year, the media has reported more vigorously than in previous years, hitting the points that everyone is interested in watching. Consequently, the viewership for the elections has increased even more. Elections are entertaining for everyone. Reporters have things to write about, gamblers have bets to place, and those who are free have something to follow and comment on for fun. The Senate and the House of Representatives. Hello. If you are interested in American politics, you have certainly heard a lot about the Senate and the House of Representatives. However, many may not fully understand them. Why do we have a House and a Senate? Let's dive right in. First of all, it can be said that these two bodies together form the Congress of the United States. What is Congress? We can imagine it like this. When a country is established, there will be a government to run that country. However, if you pay close attention, in the feudal era, the king did whatever he wanted. The king was the law. What the king said was considered correct and true. Under such a regime, the people would suffer because they had no rights or voice. Therefore, the people rose up to fight for their rights so that they could take control of the country. But once the people have control of the country, it is impossible for everyone to participate in running the government. The people must elect those who are capable and delegate authority to them. These individuals have the responsibility to serve the people, govern the country, and help it develop. However, when the power of this system becomes too great, those in power may betray the people. They may not serve the public, but only their interests. Therefore, the people must also create another group to oversee the actions of that government system. At the time of its founding, the United States only had a single Congress. At that time, the number of representatives from each state was equal, similar to the current Senate. However, this organizational structure was ineffective, the government operated poorly, and a heated debate ensued, leading to the establishment of two houses in Congress. So, how do these two houses differ from a single house? Here's the difference. If Congress only had one house, Representatives would need to be allocated based on the population of each province or state. States with larger populations would have more representatives, while those with smaller populations would have fewer. Alternatively, each state could have 2 representatives. Either way has its downsides. If each state had 2 representatives, the states with fewer people and less economic development would demand rights, impacting the larger, more developed states. Conversely, if the more populous states had more representatives, they could potentially overshadow the smaller states. It's like a rich person only caring about themselves while ignoring a poor person. In Europe in the past, when nobles and royalty participated, they would propose many policies that were detrimental to the people. The second issue is the representatives themselves. If they only represented the people, they might sometimes feel pressured by the public on issues they don't fully understand, leading them to make decisions that are not beneficial for the country. Therefore, the idea of establishing 2 houses was created to address these issues. In the U.S., the Senate has 100 members, evenly divided among the 50 states, with each state having 2 senators. The House of Representatives has 435 members, with more representatives from more populous states and fewer from less populous ones. When a bill is passed, it must be approved by both houses. Thus, if a law benefits the economically strong and populous states but is detrimental to smaller ones, it may be rejected by the Senate. Conversely, laws that benefit smaller states but hinder the development of economically central and populous states are unlikely to be approved by the House. As a result, the U.S. consistently has balanced and reasonable laws that benefit both rich and poor states, regardless of population size. If the House is pressured by an impatient public, the Senate can veto those rash decisions to prevent mistakes. In Europe, in some countries, the nobility and royalty participate in the Senate, while the House represents the people. Hence, it is also known as the House of Commons. Every law must be approved by both the people and the nobles, ensuring no one is disadvantaged. Learning a bit more about the bicameral Congress in the U.S., the House has 435 representatives. More populous states get more representatives, and these representatives are directly elected by the public for a 2-year term. The House's strength lies in proposing tax bills and having the authority to impeach the president. The Senate consists of 100 members with 50 states. Each has 2 senators. Senators serve a 6-year term, but 1/3 of the Senate is elected every 2 years. Additionally, 2 senators from the same state cannot be elected in the same year, meaning every 2 years, 33 senators change. Senators are elected by the state legislatures, not directly by the people. The Senate cannot propose tax bills, but it can amend, supplement, and approve or reject them. Furthermore, when the House impeaches the president, the Senate decides his guilt or innocence based on that. In addition to the House and Senate, Congress also has specialized committees. Since legislators are not all-knowing, committees provide expert knowledge to assist them. So now you understand the U.S. Congress and why it has 2 houses. Aurus and the Beast. Hello. If one day there is an event in the world like the fall of London, we will see how important the vehicles of national leaders are. has one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, with 2 assassination attempts. The President of the United States must always be equipped with the strongest security system. And as part of this formidable security system for the President, we cannot forget to mention a vehicle dubbed the Beast, which is also a super-modern armored vehicle disguised as a luxurious limousine. It can be said that this is the safest car on the planet. However, you may have focused so much on the vehicle of the US President that you forgot that Russian President Putin also has a terrifying monster, and it is named Aurus. In this video, we will learn about this Russian version of the Beast. First, let's discuss its origin. Russia is regarded as a military superpower, a counterbalance to the US. Therefore, it is clearly not safe for the Russian president to use a Mercedes S600 as his means of transportation. More importantly, that car is not even Russian. This is not something to be proud of for the Russian identity and their position as a military superpower in the world. If they cannot produce a safe vehicle for themselves like the US, what does it mean to be Russia? Therefore, in 2013, the Russian government developed a project called Cortege. This project for developing a car specifically for the president was carried out by NAMI, the Scientific Research Institute of Automobile and Engine Engineering, in collaboration with a domestic car manufacturer named Solers. From this project, a supercar brand named Aurus was born. Au means gold, while Rus is an abbreviation of Russia. So together it can be understood as the treasure of Russia. After 5 years of research and an investment of $157 million in 2018, the super luxury armored car for President Putin was born, named Aurus Senat. Not only designed specifically for the president, this luxury car was also released on the commercial market for $248,000 in 2019. It has been likened to the Russian version of a Rolls-Royce, and indeed it does look similar. Aurus Senat sold out immediately upon release. Of course, while the commercial version has similar dimensions to the president's car, it cannot be equipped with the modern safety features of Putin's vehicle. Returning to President Putin's car, can it compare with the Cadillac one that escorts the US president? Let's take a look. First, let's briefly go over the US president's Beast, specifically the 2.0 version designed for Trump. This car has not changed in size, measuring 5.4 meters long like previous versions. However, its weight has increased to 9 tons, compared to 7.5 tons for Obama's car. The Beast 2.0 is still considered the world's best bulletproof vehicle, with armor made of the finest materials, 20 centimeters thick. The doors are framed with glass, but the bulletproof glass consists of 5 layers and is also 13 centimeters thick. Inside, it is equipped with weapons, medical supplies, and even reserve blood for emergencies. Furthermore, the vehicle is equipped with satellite communication features, ensuring the president remains connected in all situations. Additionally, there are many features that only the manufacturers and Trump's security team know about. But sadly, due to its heavy build, the car can only reach a maximum speed of 90 kilometers per hour. As for the Russian president's car, it is much longer, reaching 6.7 meters. However, the car weighs only over 6 tons, it is unclear if it would be more likely to flip than the U.S. president's car in the event of a bomb explosion. With $157 million invested in research, it is, of course, believed that the Russian president's vehicle is also super safe with hundreds of special features, capable of withstanding chemical and biological attacks, and operates in extreme weather conditions. It has been tested in temperatures as low as -50 degrees Celsius. The vehicle is powered by a 4.4-liter V8 diesel engine with 600 horsepower. The fuel tank is designed to be explosion-proof. Cameras are installed all around, allowing for a 360-degree view, even from the most concealed position. Additionally, the car has an emergency exit at the back, in case of urgent situations. There are many interesting features, but the Russians are quite secretive and do not disclose too much about the vehicle, so we only know this much. Nonetheless, it is undoubtedly one of the safest cars in the world and a product made by the Russians themselves. Thus, in the world, only Russia and the US have their own vehicles for their presidents. The life of billionaire Donald Trump. Hello, let's learn a little more every day. In today's story, we will explore the life of billionaire Donald Trump, the man who once shook the world. Let's get started. Donald Trump has been the President of the United States, and for many he is just the world's clown. However, the life of this former president is much more interesting when you delve deeper. Donald Trump was born on June 14, 1946, which means his birthday is just 2 days away. If you like him, don't forget to send your birthday wishes to Billionaire Trump. Just remember not to wish him on Facebook, because his account has been banned. Trump is the fourth child in a family of 5 siblings. His father was of German descent, while his mother was of Scottish descent. Donald Trump's older brother is Fred Trump. He was supposed to inherit the family's massive real estate company, but he didn't like business. He only loved flying planes. So, he became a pilot and died young due to severe alcohol addiction. This is why Trump has never touched a drop of alcohol in his life. He doesn't smoke either. Many of you might admire the healthy lifestyle of the most powerful leader in the world, but you will have to reconsider when you find out that President Trump opposes exercising. He believes that exercising has no benefits and wastes energy. For him, playing golf is a great way to stay healthy. Trump has had 3 wives. His first wife was model Ivana. They had 3 children, including Ivanka, who is very famous in the media and also serves as a senior advisor to the president, but in reality, she is advising her father. In 1992, Ivana divorced Trump because he had an affair. Shortly after, Trump married the mistress, and they had a daughter named Tiffany, a beautiful singer and model. In 1999, they divorced again, and in 2005, Trump married his 3rd wife, model Melania. They have a son named Barron, a teenager who has captured the hearts of many female fans. Overall, Trump has a lot of money, so he also has a lot of wives, and they are all beautiful models and actresses. What about Trump's business activities? Let's find out more. After graduating with a degree in economics, Trump began his career and faced struggles like many other young people. Trump worked hard on his CV and went job hunting. Fortunately, employers really appreciated him. They looked at his CV and hired him immediately. It turns out it wasn't because he was handsome, but because his father's name was the same as the powerful chairman of the company. Actually, this is just an imagination. In reality, Trump called and told his father to decorate the manager's office. He was hired right after graduating. At the age of 25, he took over as president of the company from his father. Many of you might sigh, feeling that he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, while I struggled just to manage 30 orders in a day. That being said, owning a massive fortune, if you don't know anything, it's lucky just to keep it. It takes real skill to make it grow. Trump is both skilled and intelligent. While in college, he worked for his father and brother, managing the renovation of thousands of apartments, helping the company earn a massive profit worth millions of dollars in today's value. After 2 years in power, the Trump Organization expanded its management activities, owning 14,000 apartments known to business people and even the government. Specifically, the Department of Justice sued Trump in federal court, accusing him of violating the Fair Housing Act. Specifically, Trump was accused of refusing to rent or negotiate rentals based on race or ethnicity. Do you know what President Trump's reaction was at that time? He decided to countersue the government for defaming him. In fact, he claimed that the government's accusations were unfounded and demanded a staggering compensation of $500 million, adjusted to today's value. Later, Trump expanded his company's business into many different fields. In real estate, he built Trump Tower, a large building located in a prime area in New York, and developed many golf courses and resorts around the world. He also owns a football club. In entertainment, Trump holds shares in the Miss Universe, Miss USA, and Miss Teen USA pageants. He also bought shares in NBC and the Miss Universe organization, making him the sole owner. Trump has turned his name into a brand, representing dozens of major labels, valuing his brand at $3.2 billion. For example, he earned $1.5 million for every hour of speaking engagements and was hired to speak in the media for businesses at a rate of $393,000 per speech. In the television show The Apprentice, Trump was initially paid $39,000 per episode, but as the show grew in popularity, he was paid up to $2.7 million for one episode. This made Trump one of the highest-paid media stars. Donald Trump has also appeared in many famous films, primarily in humorous scenes. In total, he participated in 14 shows and earned nearly $275 million. In 2007, Trump was awarded a star and honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for his contributions to television. You may not know that Trump has declared bankruptcy many times. Does that mean he is bad at business? Probably not. Rather, it's a clever tactic. Trump said, "I have utilized the laws of our country to reduce debt. We will set up a company, we will file for bankruptcy, we will negotiate with the banks, and we will have a great deal." And that is how smart people declare bankruptcy. It turns out that Donald Trump is not just a businessman, but also a politician, as we often think, right? Thank you for watching the video. Goodbye.